I want to welcome everyone to another episode of RG22 Outdoor Adventures, and today I'm repairing the electric motor on my boat. So on Friday when I picked up my new trailer, my wife and I took the boat out for kind of a shakedown. It's been sitting for a month at the dealer, and it sat for another 6 or 7 months before that, before we actually used it again. So I just wanted to make sure everything was working properly. I had the motor tuned up, everything worked awesome. The only issue I had was the battery. The electric motor wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out why. I didn't know if it was because the batteries were flat. So I ran the boat around the lake for a while. Batteries never took a charge. Had it plugged in overnight at my house. Batteries never took a charge. We went camping with it the next day and had it plugged in that morning. Batteries didn't take a charge, motor didn't work, and then had it charged overnight at the campground, and then Saturday batteries didn't work. I'm going to show you exactly what happened and how I came about fixing this problem. Okay, so as you can see, I use a Minn Terrova as my bow mounted trolling motor. It's an 80-pound thrust, and I'm going to show you exactly what was happening and how I came about to solve this problem. Okay, so as you can see, there is, you have the power button, and you have this battery test indicator. So what happened was, now you can see it's really bright, but before it was really dim or didn't show up at all. You'd really have to cover it in order to see it. And how bright this button is here, the power button, it was nowhere near that bright. It was flickering on and off, and it also was dim. But this power light lit up, and these test lights did not. So that didn't make any sense to me. I thought maybe the batteries were flat. And like I said, we ran the boat around the lake, nothing happened. Plugged it in, nothing happened. Okay, so that kind of told me there's a problem somewhere, and hopefully, my thought it was the batteries. That was my original thought. Okay, so these are replacement batteries that are in the boat right now. The original batteries were from 2019 when the boat was brand new. I got it in 2020, and the boat was brand new when I bought it. And so I put a charge on it. I put my voltmeter on it, and I got the 12.6 volts, which which is normal. It's fine. That's good. I checked all the fuses. So in here, there's fuses. These are all fuses in here. Inside these yellow things are all fuses. And all the fuses except for this one was a little corroded. All the others were perfect. No problems. I had maybe a little bit of corrosion on this battery terminal, but really nothing. Nothing to really kind of say, hey, this is the problem. Took the batteries in to get load tested, and these are 500, 600 cold cranking amp batteries. The original batteries were cranking at about 100 amps. So I figured I've probably found the problem. It's batteries. I put these batteries in, got everything hooked up, and I had the same exact problem. So now it's telling me there's got to be another issue. So with those batteries, I decided to do something that against my better judgment that I didn't want to do, but I'm going to go up to the bow of the boat and show you guys. Okay, so against my better judgment, I took a voltmeter and I made a hole here and I made a hole there so that these needles at the end of this meter would fit in there, and it would tell me how many volts are going through the wire. Now, I'm not going to condone this. I'm going to tell you guys not to do this because there is an easier way to do this, and it requires taking off 4 screws and removing a plastic cover. So now what I did, unfortunately, was I'm exposing my wires to the elements to get oxidized and then to create a lot of corrosion, and I'm going to have a huge problem where I'm going to end up having to replace or repair these wires at some point in time. So don't do this. I'll show you guys the easiest way to do it. Okay. All right, so I had to find out where the main power wires are, and to see if those were any good and if I was getting any voltage there. And also, What the person at Minn told me was to use a jump box and hook a jump box up to the leads inside here to power the motor. So there's 4 screws. There's a screw here and a screw on the other side down over here, and you have one here and you have one over here. Now both of these covers come off, and when these covers come off, you can press on here and pull this right up, and this is the cover that covers your circuit board, and you can see it's all sealed. So there's a couple wires that I hooked this jump box up to. So I hooked these leads, positive and negative, to the positive lead right there, and then to the negative lead here. When I did that, the motor ran, and it ran perfectly. It had no problems. So it's telling me the motor is working fine. The problem is from here down to the batteries. So we're going to go further, and I'm going to show you what I did and explain. Okay, so now these wires, these positive and negative wires, are the wires that go back to the motor and then to the charger under the boat. Okay, so there's also, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a 50 amp circuit breaker right there. That's just a cover. The circuit breaker is inside that cover, and that cover comes apart. So there's a wire that goes from the battery, and it's this wire right here. Goes from the battery to the circuit breaker, okay? And then it goes from the circuit breaker out to the motor. So that's how that works. And these batteries are all set up in parallel. So you have your positive, negative. This positive is hooked up to this negative, and then negative to negative. So you have 2 batteries hooked up in parallel, in series, and you have your fuses. All the fuses, like I said, were good. So I'm going to show you what I found and what actually fixed the problem. So next time you guys encounter this on the water, campground, or wherever you are, you'll likely know what the culprit's going to be. Okay, so here's the battery. This is the cable. So this cable was hooked up to this circuit breaker. This is the 50 amp circuit breaker that was inside that box. Now we tested this with the voltmeter, and it came out as bad that everything was open. However, you can see there's a ton of corrosion on this post right here, a lot of corrosion, and there was a lot of corrosion on the inside that box as well. But you can, if you really look really hard, you might be able to see corrosion in there. But anyways, this was hooked up to that too, and as you can see, that wire doesn't look good at all. It is extremely corroded. So that was hooked up to here, and this was the problem why my motor wasn't working, along with the batteries. So I had 2 problems that were causing this motor not working. Number one, it was the batteries, and number 2, it was the circuit breaker, and then the corrosion on this cable. So I had the cable replaced, and I bought a new circuit breaker. When I put all that back together, got the battery on, and now we have a perfect running electric motor. And let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on, and you can see we have a full battery. Lights up nice and strong. Power lights on, and I'm going to go to the foot pedal. I'm going to bring it over here. Okay, so I'm going to use the remote, and here I'm going to show you how it works. So the remote, and there we go. And then it stops. And if I want to turn, and you can see the motor turns. Everything works perfectly. So I'm going to button up the boat now, get it out, get the batteries and everything all put back together, get the boat cleaned out, get the cover on, and then I'm going to call it a day. And hopefully this little video has helped all of you guys and troubleshooting the motor, this electric motor, if something ever happens. And if you guys like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to like it and share this with all of your friends. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.